Hello and welcome back to goldstocktrades.com. Today we have a new and special guest with us, Steve Robertson. Steve is CEO of SUNM.V, a company that we've been following here on since last summer and has had a very successful start to their exploration. Steve has a great history, and the group behind SUNM.V has a great history in the mining sector, building value for shareholders. Thank you, Steve, for being here with us today and for giving us an introduction into this exciting SUNM.V story.
Thanks very much, Jeb. It's my pleasure to be here.
You know, there's very few discoveries that you can call disruptive. Or as you say in your presentation, it should never have been there. Talk to us about some of those disruptive discoveries and what you're seeing here with this Stardust project.
Well, I can just imagine how excited Chuck Fipke must have been when he was finding diamonds in the Northwest Territories, when everybody knew full well that you'd never find diamonds on the North American continent. He found something that wasn't supposed to be there. And the team that found Eskay Creek in northern British Columbia, which eventually became the world's highest grade gold mine, shouldn't have been there. There was nothing else around it like it. And same thing with the Stardust project that SUNM.V has. I don't think that anybody was expecting us to come up with 100 meters of 5% copper equivalent in our drilling in a carbonate replacement system in northern British Columbia, because everybody knows those things are found in northern Mexico. But we did come up with that result, and we have all the hallmark features of this being a very strong system. We think that we have a very good chance of making it a lot bigger through additional exploration. And I certainly think that this fits into that category of being a disruptive discovery that's going to make people start to think differently about exploration in this area.
Steve, give us your background. I know that you really helped at Imperial Metals, and talk to us about the team behind SUNM.V and the group and the shareholders behind SUNM.V that have created so much value in the past.
Yeah, well, I'm an exploration geologist by training, so most of my 24 years that I spent with Imperial was in that role. And I guess the thing that I'm best known for was drilling off the deep resource at the Red Chris project, which is now in operation. And I think Newcrest has just come in to buy 70% of that mine. So it was a very significant resource that we developed there that attracted worldwide attention. Now, I joined the team at SUNM.V, Mark O'Day, Donald McGuinness, and Sean Tetzlaff. Those guys are the owners of the Oxygen Group, which is a merchant bank mining house here in Vancouver. And really it all started with Fronteer Gold, that those guys took from zero to $2.3 billion. And there was a takeover by Newmont on the basis of their Long Canyon asset that they had down in Nevada. So it's really a tremendous team that they've assembled here with a lot of talent and a great deal of success in their history. And on top of that, they had acquired this Stardust project. And I had known about the Stardust project for many years because of my relationship with Peter McGaw. Peter's the world's leading authority in carbonate replacement systems. We first worked together in 1997 when I was running the Silvertip project in northern BC. And that was the first time he'd come to work in British Columbia. And after we were done working there, he went over and worked on Stardust. And I can recall him telling me how excited he was about this project and the system and the potential. And so when I saw the alignment of stars being able to work with Mark and his group and also working on the Stardust project, I decided to leave Imperial Metals and come over and try my hand at actually running my own company. And it's just been tremendous the way things have fallen in place for us.
Well, let's talk about what's happened in 2018 after you had an exploration program. You announced some of the most exciting drill results, I thought, in Canada, maybe the world, in 2018. So talk to us about the success that you had in 2018.
Yeah, well, we went into the program with a very methodical systematic process in mind. I'll have to mention as well, I've hired a VP of exploration by the name of Ian Neal. Ian is the 2003 Bill Dennis Award winner because of his role in the discovery of 50 million ton massive sulfide deposits in the Northwest Territories for Wolfton back in the early 2000s. And Ian, is the guy that personifies systematic, disciplined exploration. He's a very solid guy. And we were able to get into this property and for the first time, take all the data and put it into an electronic database. So we had it all in environment where we could model things in 3 dimensions and use all of the tools in the toolbox. We could bring in geophysics or geochemistry as we needed to be able to help us understand the system better. And we went in and did, I guess you would call it a shotgun blast approach. We had several different targets over a wide area, but in the core of the property. And our idea was if we test enough of these targets, we're going to find one of the feeders where the mineralization is feeding back toward the source of the mineralizing fluids that caused all of this mineralization to deposit. And the concept was if we go back into the feeders of this mineralization, we'll be able to get into thicker, more consistent mineralization, potentially richer mineralization, and that'll help us build a resource more readily. And so we had tested a number of 22 targets, I think it was, in the 2018 program. And of course, one of them stood out head and shoulders above the others, 100 meters of 5% copper equivalent in hole 421. Now, the average thickness of the resource there is 4.3 meters thick. So this is something that is definitely different. This is truly a spectacular intercept that is more in the proximal part of the skarn system, and we think is going to lead us into more consistent, thicker, richer mineralization.
So yeah, this is what's exciting is especially after those results following up and getting into that thicker, richer mineralization. Talk to us about the start of our next field program following up last year's program. I guess mid-May you're targeting to start the field program, and talk to us about some of the drilling. I know that you may be doing some directional drilling, and there may be even, if we're successful, the opportunity to possibly drill into the winter. So, what's sort of the plan going forward in 2019?
Yeah, so again, like 2018, 2019 will be a very systematic, disciplined approach to our exploration, but we'll have a different objective in mind. Last year, we wanted to test a wide number of targets to see if we could find one of these feeders. Now that we've found a feeder, we're going to go in and start to follow it in both the direction the fluids came from and the direction the fluids went to. So we can expand on this mineralization, build some tonnage, and to do that, the top of the mineralization is 500 meters down, which is a fair distance to drill from surface. So we're actually going to use a system called Devico that will allow us to turn our diamond drill into a steerable diamond drill. And we'll be able to very precisely step out from the intercept in hole 421. And we can plan exactly the direction and distance of the step out so that we can make sure that we follow those fluid pathways. And then as we get more confident about the orientation of the mineralized zone, we'll be able to take more aggressive, larger step outs. So that we do want to be able to build up a substantial tonnage before the end of the season so that we can do an update to the 43101 resource.
And I'd like to remind my readers, the group that's involved here, many of us remember Fronteer Gold and the value that was created back in 2011, 2012. Steve, talk to us about some of the recent investments. I know that you've had a strategic investment from Teck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Teck hasn't done that for a number of years. We were the first time that they had actually done one of these strategic investments in a company for many years. But everybody will recall that they had made a strategic investment in one of Robert Friedland's companies called Diamond Fields, and they, did very well on that. And we've been talking to Teck. I know a lot of the guys over there, and So they were familiar with the program and how we were going about our exploration program. And when we actually came up with the result of 100 meters, 5% copper, they understood right away the significance of that intercept. And so we went out and we were starting to talk to people. And one of the first places we went to was Teck and said, we plan on doing an issuance of shares to raise money, and wanted to know if you would be interested in participating in that. And they said, yeah, we'd like to take the whole thing. And we actually talked to them a little bit further, and we ended up getting a tremendous premium on the share price for that issuance. So it was through a tax structure that we had in Canada, we were able to actually raise the money at 100% premium to where our trading price was at that time. So that was a real wake-up call for the market when people said, "Boy, Teck hasn't done this in a long time, and they're this is such a good premium to the current trading price. There must be something significant here." And we've been getting a lot of attention since then. So as a result of that financing, we've got $5.2 million in the treasury that's going to be able to fully fund our 2019 exploration program. And we've got the benefit of Teck now owns 13.8% of the company and has the right to maintain that going forward. So we're very encouraged and happy about the fact that Teck is a good strategic shareholder in the company now.
Well, you have Teck as a strategic investor. You have the Oxygen Group that we all know from Frontier with Mark O'Day as a on the board here. You have great people. You have a start of one of a very exciting, probably the most exciting exploration program in Canada this year. Thank you, Steve, for being here with us today and for giving us an introduction into what could be a disruptive discovery in Canada and the world, a high-grade gold copper system, CRD system. Thank you, Steve, for being here with us today.
It's my pleasure, Jeff. Thank you.
Steve Robertson, CEO of Sun Metals, which can be traded as SUNM on the TSX Venture and as SMTTF on the OTC. You can get more information by going to sunmetals.ca, and you can also call 604-683-7790 for more information. And Sun Metals website, sunmetals.ca, has a lot of great information with great diagrams to see the drill holes and the intersections and all the geological data for those who want more information.